I'll find the picture. Show us again, Jake. Show me again.
Yeah, okay, hang on.
We had this is a good picture. Jake's got a good picture on his phone. Rob Plant went over with Harley Holt and they both went over. And Jake went under his wing. Ooh, how was your car?
Yeah, look. On the bonnet.
Go on, one.
On the bonnet. Up here. Up the roll bar. Up here.
All that yellow.
You can see the yellow paint here, look. Here, and here.
Jeez.
And then up the back axle.
Look at
I
his
don't know how I've done this.
Right, look out the pen now. Look.
I don't know how I've done this because I didn't hit Rob Plant or Harley. I went into the bend hard and they've gone up the fence and I've just carried on. I've like diamond the corner off. I've carried on up the inside and because he's tipped over, you'll see the picture, because he's tipped over, his wing is just here.
Right.
So I never like made contact with his nerf rail or anything. I made contact sort of with his aerofoil.
Is that when you bent the exhaust as well? Or was that previous race?
No, it was the other race. So I just don't know how I've done it.
Yeah, well, both of them had a lot of damage, didn't they? We've had a lot of damage as well. That axle's going to take some fixing. Because so that wheel. Fixing that way. Alright, let's get it clean, shall we, and get the axle out. We've got a bit of an oil leak as well, have we? A bit of an oil leak to look at as well. Never ending. Never ending. We've got a bit of oil in the bottom of the coach. We've just unloaded the car and a bit of oil in the coach. We've just gone to check the oil level. And look, that is snapped off. That is the dipstick. And it's snapped off. So now the dipstick is in the bottom of the sump. So we have to take the engine out now to get the sump off and find the broken dipstick. So that's another job that we didn't know about. So we can't take this car to Tom's now. What we're going to try and do, wait for him to call back, perhaps take the axle to him to repair the axle, and we'll have the engine out. Blimey. If it's not one thing, eh? It's everything. Okay, the last job we're going to do, we're going to take the headers off because we've bent this exhaust at Bradford as well. It was bent right in, so it's put pressure on the headers. And we've got another set of headers that are better headers up on the shelf there. So we're going to put them ones on because they're much better ones. They're Simpson exhausts, but the brackets are wrong. The brackets where they bolt onto the head. So we're going to take these headers off and measure the ports so we can order some from America, order some brackets from America. So then Simpson exhaust will fit on this car. But that's our plan, but looks like the engine's got to come out as well, isn't it, Jake? Axle out, engine out. It's good job we've got 3 weeks off, isn't it? Lots to do.
You gonna help us soon?
I'm helping you. I'm going to put this phone down and I'll come help you.
Bloody hobo.
I've just told Brigger that I went and saw Michael Jackson. I usually think that's quite impressive to see Michael Jackson. And who did you see?
What's that?
Who's the biggest artist you've ever seen?
Elvis.
Yeah, that was gazump to me.
Frank Sinatra.
And Frank Sinatra. Did you?
Frank Sinatra was on the Tooting Broadway, which is just
in London,
just round the corner from London Speedway.
Oh, really?
And he was in that period that nobody wanted to hear him, and he was half drunk.
Oh, really?
And he was going to carry on till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right, midweek update. Jake and Grant have got the axle out. The shell car, it's badly bent on this end. So it's that shaft, this shaft is actually cut off and replaced. That's our spare axle, that's on 2 links, it doesn't actually fit the car. So what we're going to do, while we're at it, we're going to get these brackets made to fit on the axle, so both axles are identical. So if this happens again, we've got a spare axle and we might be able to carry it with us on the coach. We need to get hubs and get it built up identical, that's our plan, if we can do it. Get a bit of that a little bit more organised. There's an old tarmac axle there as well. It's just money all the time, isn't it? But the axles are different widths, you see, the shell axle is different width to the tarmac axle. The engine's out as well. We're not racing for 3 weeks, so luckily we've got a bit of a break. The engine's out because we had a oil leak. So we took it out of the car, and I took it out of the coach on Sunday to clean it, and there was oil in the coach. And Jake took the engine out last night. I got a fishing match, so I didn't help him, but he took the engine out and the sump is cracked. So that's an easy fix. Just they took the sump off and sent it to be repaired. So that's where we're at. That's our midweek update. this is actually my favourite subject. It's goggles. I don't know why, I just always like goggles. I'm 60 next month, so I'm nearly 60 now. So I've been racing since I was about 15. So I started racing in about 1980. We didn't have roll-offs then. Roll-offs came out in about mid-80s. And I do remember them coming out. It was just a revolution when roll-offs came out. We used to use tear-offs, and roll-offs were just fantastic for speedway, motocross, stock cars. You know, people used to have really close windows, didn't they, on the stock cars before the mid-80s, before we got roll-offs, just to stop the mud hitting the goggles. Of course, we're wearing a peak as well. We're wearing a motocross helmet on shale, so you can just dip your peak if you got the roost coming towards you from the car in front. Same on a motocross bike, you just dip your peak. Just for a second or so, just to stop most of the muck hitting your goggles. Some wear tear-offs. I know Lee Ferris uses a tear-off on top of his roll-offs, for example, just for the first lap or so, just to get the best out of his roll-offs. I saw Gregor McKenzie last week at King's Lynn, the F2 British champion. He was trailing a roll-off. These roll-offs here, he was trailing this. You'll see it trailing behind it, coming out the car, because it's so long. They'll trail behind the car, and you can see it flapping around. And that's because Greg would have been using the old type roll-offs. These are some old ones here I've just found. They've got a single tab on there, just a little single tab, and these fall off and you lose the window. I've got loads of spares. I've accumulated loads of spares over the years. But then these modern goggles that we're on now are rip and rolls, and they're on double tabs. So here, there's 2 tabs here. So you don't see it nowadays. You don't see drivers do it anymore. The 2 tabs to pull that off there, and there's one there. I've already gone off there. In fact, you just see the 2 tabs on the back there, and the 2 tabs are much more secure. These roll off. So you're putting this film across from one side to the other side. So you're pulling it across like that. I'm going to see how many pulls on that. 50, exactly 50 pulls on a roll-off. So I always wanted to know that. I never really realised how many roll-off pulls there were. So now I know. Paul Harrison, I go bad if he sees me doing that, because he hated wasting rolls. He used to joke he'd pull it halfway across, pull half a string and pull it halfway across his goggles. And then he'd roll it up and wind it back. I've got loads of roll-off films. I used to offer him films. He's, no, I like doing it. So you go mad. But also this side here, if it's really muddy, this side gets bigger and bigger and bigger, because if you've got like a millimetre of film on there, mud as you're pulling it across, it gets bigger, and this blocks up. So I put a scraper on here, put a little homemade scraper on there to scrape the film as it's going into the canister. So Rip and Roll are English, and you can communicate with them. So I emailed Rip and Roll, and I told them the problem. I told we need a little scraper, and this was a couple of years ago, and they've actually made one now, and you can buy a little scraper for about £1. I think it's three in a packet for £3. And they've made these little scrapers now, and it scrapes the mud as it goes in, and it doesn't do it anymore. So I'm glad they listened to me, because it's really important. So that's how roll-offs work, and I'm pretty obsessed with them. I've got 7 pairs there. So of course, when me and Jake were both racing, we had 2 pairs each, because we'd always need 2 pairs of goggles for each race. We have 1 pair, a new pair with us, and a spare pair in the side of the car. Because if you're going to wave yellows and you've done lots and lots of pulling on the first 2 or 3 really muddy laps, then you can run out of roll-offs. Of course, also these as they get older, these cords do get weaker. So if you break a cord, if you're pulling furiously, you break the cord, and then at least you can when you go to wave yellows, you can put your spare pair of goggles on. So new film, all you do is save the peg that's in the middle there. You save the old peg and put the peg on that end. Just drop one in that end. So pull it across, drop it in there on the slot, and then just simply pop on the 2 windows, click, and pop on this window. Not so easy with that scraper on, but it is worth it. And I can get it in. Stupid scraper. Whose idea was this scraper? There's in. And one last thing, these goggles here, these are Rip and Rolls. These have got a rib on there, and there's a rib there, and there's a rib there. And what it does, it stops the film sticking. So if it's just dirty and muddy, then you don't really need the ribs. But if it's raining, you need that rib, because that rib stops the film sticking to the lens. And that's when you see people can't pull the roll off, because it's just totally stuck. when it gets rain behind it. There we go. That's Goggles.